Another big week for me on the predictions, isn't it?
Smashing it. 5 out of 6 for you, only 3 out of 6 for me. That means cumulatively you're now 10 ahead of me, leading that one out. So,
but we're soon to be having 8 games a week, aren't we? So all is not lost from your point of view.
No, but we'll see how we get on. But we'll see how. I'm just going to go with what I think now. I'm not going to try and do anything.
No.
And we'll see how close it gets. But surely you'll just go the same way with a lot of games.
Do you know what? Actually, I was making my notes at lunchtime. I was doing my predictions and stuff, and I started to be a bit tempted to I'll just pick Wigan because there's no point in not doing, because I'm safe either way, because that's a null result because you'll always pick Wigan, so it doesn't matter what I think's going to happen. As long as I pick Wigan, I'm going to get the same score as you there and then take it on. But I can't recall now if I actually have picked Wigan or not. I'm going to have to scoot forward a little bit. But no, I don't want to do it tactically. I want to do it on. Yeah, I have picked Wigan. As it happens.
Anyway,
but yeah. So no, it's going well. What about Super Brew?
On to people who are far better than both of us. Lee Whitnell's wearing the yellow cap this week in Super Brew. Had a really good week, but it's Dr. Bob who's taken over the lead at the top of the table.
Congratulations, big brain on Bob there, getting put to good use.
In the Dream Team, Stephen Bowie, he's extended his lead at the top with another best in the league week. This week it was 769, and he's owning it. It's Stephen Bowie, so well done.
Yes, congratulations. Right, that is Super League taken care of. Let's take a look at some results from elsewhere in the world of rugby league. Okay, so to other results then, we'll drop down into the Championship, round 16 of play in that competition this weekend. Batley Bulldogs were defeated 20 points to 28 at home against Toulouse. Dewsbury Rams were 38 points to 12 winners over the Bradford Bulls this weekend, Mark. We've got some feedback on this one.
Yeah, we'll start with our old friend Vicky McQueen at Vicky McQ. Give her a follow on Twitter. She says, what a difference a week makes. Bulls were absolutely atrocious today. Stupid mistakes, other than 1 or 2. No one looked interested. Barring a miracle, the only thing I can see for Bradford is relegation. Sad times.
There you go.
Shelley and Mungo, our friend Alan, said, sorry, can't explain how a team so up for it against the league leaders can play like that the week after. Shipping in 38 points against a team who only scored 150 points in 14 games. League One beckons. And then the at RAB podcast, that's the Red, Amber and Black podcast, obviously had a chat with them, didn't we, before the season started as well.
Yeah.
These were our main contributors to the Bulls drama show at the start of the year, weren't they? And
we're not having another one of them.
Where do the Bulls go from here? Such a poor performance after matching Hull KR at the Bash. Relegation looking a certainty as Swinton and Dewsbury pull further away in the fight to survive. Not tasted victory for almost 2 months and conceding an average 36 points a game. Not many positives to the Bulls at the moment.
No, it's fucking atrocious. Absolute garbage. And the silence coming out of Odsal in terms of our absentee owners is pretty deafening. I almost harken back to the halcyon days of the Mark Green propaganda machine. But I think it's League One for us, mate. Elsewhere though, Featherstone and Hull KR played out a 20-point draw down at the big fella stadium. So credit to Featherstone there.
Featherstone were on top for much of that game.
Right.
Really, they probably would be kicking themselves at an opportunity missed there.
There you go. London were 34 points to 6 winners over the Halifax Blue Sox. Sheffield Eagles got a 38 points to 14 win over the Rochdale Hornets, and Swinton won their big derby game against Oldham by 26 points to 4.
Yeah, all that means Hull KR keep a big lead at the top, even though they've not won for only the second time this year. Toulouse and London are on 24 points, with Featherstone on 23. Halifax then see a 3-point gap open up between the top 4 and themselves. Sheffield and Batley look relatively comfortable still, with Rochdale, Oldham, Swinton and Dewsbury appearing to be in the fight to stay up. 3 competition points separates those sides, whilst the Bulls stay bottom on -2.
There you go.
8 adrift now?
Yeah, it's great. Okay, League One, round 9 of competition in the third tier. Keith the Cougars were 74 points to 6 winners over the South Wales Ironmen. Your League One trophy winners, Barrow, were 28 points to 20 winners over the Hunslet side. Toronto beat Coventry by 56 points to 12. not the bigger margin not as big a margin as we've been used to. It was Hemel 20, North Wales Crusaders 26. Oxford were beaten at home 12 points to 48 by Whitehaven, Mark.
Yeah, Tim G Radio got in touch. He said Whitehaven fully deserved their win, blew us away in the first quarter of an hour. Was especially tough for them given one of their players had drunk so much the night before they couldn't play, so only had a bench of 3.
That's amazing.
However, we clawed our way back and some great attacking play was on show from both sides. No idea what the red card was for. Match commissioner also seemed perplexed.
There you go. Gloucestershire Allgolds were defeated by the Newcastle Thunder. They said Falcons then. 10 points to 56. So sorry, Allgold fans, we won't pick you as game of the week again for some time.
No, but Lee Randall did say League One game of the week prediction was far off as if we could get out of the changing rooms would be a start. Soft in the tackle, clueless in attack. The worst showing of the season. Does get any easier? Whitehaven away next. Let's get a response. Come on, you all goals. And Tim G Radio asked, why does this game get its own line? We were here first. Sticky out face. Well, that was because it was the League One game of the week, and I've decided to stop listing all of the games for the Championship and just do the Championship and League One games of the week.
Which makes sense, Mark.
On the Google form. Anyway.
Workington were defeated in a close one, 26 points to 30 at hosting Doncaster, and York City Knights got a 36 points to 18 victory over the London Scholars. All of which means Toronto are unbeaten and stay top ahead of one loss Barrow and Whitehaven. Doncaster, York, Keighley and Hunslet are in double figure points ahead of 8th placed Workington, who head up a group of 5 on 8 points that includes Newcastle, Oxford, the Allgolds and North Wales, with the Scholars just behind them. Coventry have 2 points, South Wales and Hemel are still winless at the bottom. Which takes us on, Mark, to there was a bit of a game on in Australia this week.
I'm just having a look and seeing if I can see anything about the red card from the Oxford game.
All right, fair enough. Well, whilst you do that, I'll tell you that it was the first game of the 2017 Origin Series, and Queensland were defeated by 4 points to 28 by the New South Wales Blues. I followed this one on Twitter whilst being at work, so I just got to see kind of gradual...
No, you don't have Premier this year, do you?
Well, I was at work either way, but yeah, I don't have Premier this year.
Well, record it.
I can't watch once I know the score. I find it really hard. But a big win for New South Wales, particularly since they were in Queensland territory.
Yeah, Phil Naden said, this was my first experience of an Origin game and it was awesome. The first half was a very fast-paced end-to-end rugby. The only stoppage was for a couple of scrums. The first was after 20 minutes. New South Wales went into half-time ahead, but it was a close 40 minutes. The second half saw more penalties and New South Wales scored 3 tries in 8 minutes. This made it a more one-sided game with the fatigue setting in and no proper response from Queensland. Richard Wilkinson said, as an adopted New South Welshman, this was one of the great nights of Origin. The victory was all the more sweet because it was in Queensland. It was a truly great game where both teams played well. New South Wales were just awesome. The great Origin legends talk about winning the big moments. New South Wales won them all bar one. Up there as one of the best 80 minutes ever played. One for the ages. Special mention for Fafita, just unplayable. And then Tim G Radio said, 1 in a row, here we go.
There you go. So you've seen this, tell us about it.
Well, aside from the late try at the end of the first half in the last minute, this was one of the most evenly matched, competitively intense, enthralling first halves of a rugby game I've ever seen in my life. Both teams made nearly 1,000 running metres in the first half. That's how much action there was.
Wow.
Things did drop off pace-wise a little bit in the second half, but not massively to such an extent. But what the difference was in the second half, and it did start in the first half, but it was really amplified in the second half because New South Wales took advantage of any mistakes Queensland made.
Okay.
New South Wales heroically prevented Queensland from scoring on any mistakes they made. So it was, even though the scoreline looked pretty big, and I think it was New South Wales' biggest ever Origin winning margin in a game in Queensland.
Right.
That kind of doesn't explain that. The most important thing here was the tries that New South Wales were able to save as much as the things that they scored. But all the players, like, you have backs running the ball. People like Hayne, who you don't associate with hitting the line hard, you associate with a lot of stuff, but not necessarily that. And he was playing in the centres, and absolutely hammering the ball in well late into the second half, trying to take the load off forwards and stuff, and the forwards were exceptional. It was pretty much a complete performance from New South Wales, and it was almost a complete performance from Queensland, apart from a couple of times the last pass was a little late getting out wide, and a couple of mistakes in their own area that New South Wales were not committing, or if they were backing it up, whereas when Queensland committed them, it landed at people's hands for feet, as try a big example of that.
Okay.
But yeah, outstanding, great game, and got me over my Origin fatigue, so I really hope Game 2 is good. Get this, obviously now talk switches to selection, particularly for Queensland, who they're going to bring in, and I think that might just amp it up and make it even more exciting, because some of the play, I mean, Gagai was brilliant for Queensland for all but the last 3 metres of the field almost, because I don't think he ever got the ball quick enough at that stage, or when he did, the cover defence of New South Wales was just so determined. It was brilliant.
Fantastic stuff. Okay, well, also this week, it was round 13 of the NRL. Melbourne Storm were 40 points to 12 winners over the Newcastle Knights.
Yeah, Joe Wardle played the full 80 in the centres for the Knights.
Parramatta Eels got a 32 points to 24 victory over the New Zealand Warriors. It was a close affair down in St George, where the Dragons got a 16 points to 12 victory over the West Tigers.
Yeah, Widdop was back, 2 tries, 128 metres, 2 goals, man of the match, all of that. He's got to play. At the moment, Kevin Brown had a phenomenal second half against Samoa, but Gareth Widdop...
It's Widdop and Gale, isn't it?
It's got to be.
It's got to be Widdop and Gale. The Sydney Roosters were 18 points to 16 winners over the Brisbane Broncos. North Queensland Cowboys got a 20 points to 8 victory over the Gold Coast Titans.
Yeah, Joe Greenwood played in this one.
1 point in it between the Sea Eagles and Raiders, finishing 21 points to 20 in favour of Manly.
Yeah, Hodgson and Whitehead were on the losing side for the Raiders, unfortunately for them.
And the Doggies were sent home, or weren't sent home, but left home with their tails between their legs, defeated at home 0 points to 38 by the Penrith Panthers.
Absolutely smashed no James Graham in this one with his injury that he picked up the week before.
They never have blowouts in the NRL though. Right, Lebanon took on Italy this weekend, Mark.
Alan Walker got in touch about this one as well. He said, good, hard, tight game. The doctors were kept busy. The Italians looked like the Ionian players they were. Bergamasco played okay. The Cedars wanted it more. The Arabic commentary was fantastic. It reminded me of the old days back in Israel.
Right, back in Israel. There's so much Alan Walker backstory that we don't know, isn't there?
The 6-4...
I think he worked for Mossad.
The 6-4 score was mainly down to lots of what they call knock-on and very good defence in Arabic. Oh, and some players had feet for hands. # Mediterranean passion. And
not at the same time, but this weekend, Limousin 13 Grizzlies took on FC 13 Lesignan.
Yeah, and Alan got in touch about this. This was the French Grand Final situation. Great game, big hits, lots of passion. Ben Pomeroy still has dicks for fingers. The Grizzlies form. The Mountains beat the Winemakers. The Grizzlies from the Mountains beat the Winemakers, worthy back-to-back champions. The band never stopped playing throughout the game.
Fantastic. Thank you for getting in touch and letting us know about those games, Al. Always a pleasure to hear from you. Right, that's last week in Rugby League taken care of. Let's take a look to the future now as we bring you our predictions for round 18 of Super League. Right, so, round 18, Mark. The split for the middle eights is starting to loom, but before that, there's some exciting fixtures this weekend. And we start on Thursday. The Battle of the Bus Stop takes place down at the Leigh Sports Village as the Centurions take on your patched-up Warriors. Can Wigan get a result against an indisciplined Leigh side and come away with the spoils?
Do you know what? We never win at Leigh in the pre-season games.
And you always play a lot of kids in those.
But
maybe you're going to get done.
I'm not going to tip against a Wigan side. I think we need this win. I think that'll have been emphasised. I'm not sure what sort of team will get out. Oliver Gildart is a player who should be back in, but I'm not sure what that does with some of the knocks people are carrying and that sort of stuff anyway. But hopefully with Williams and Lulawai, they'll be able to do enough and the pack won't make mistakes. If the pack don't make mistakes, I think we can do enough to win against a Lee side who don't always function, shall we say. The bottom of the table for a reason. So 24-20 in favour of Wigan, but I don't expect